Bruchim Habaim, welcome friends. We're in Parsha Miketz. And the beginning of this Parsha in Bereshit chapter 40, verse 1, it says, Vayhi Miketz Shanasim Yamim. So it says, it was at the end of 2 years. Now, this word Vayhi, it was, the Or HaChaim explains that when we see this type of term, it denotes distress, that Hashem was now bringing events that would directly lead to the exile of the Jewish people in Egypt and the famine and Yosef's rise to power. But it was decreed that they would go through much suffering, pain, and distress as Egypt was in exile and that Israel was in exile. And this is not a pleasant place. It was through much suffering, intense suffering, that Israel would go through. And the Or HaChaim even alludes to that Hashem's pain, Hashem would have pain. The Holy One, HaKodesh Baruch Hu, experiences distress, so to speak, when the inhabitants of his world suffer as well. And not only this, but Miketz, it means the end. And the Or HaChaim goes on to later explain that, and it was because of the Ketz, meaning the end of the ZOHAR. This is alluded to. Then the end means the end, the grand finale, when Mashiac returns. And we see this also in Masechet Sukkah 52. The Gemara explains, it says, our dosa and the rabbis disagreed about it. We're talking about the eulogy and the mourning, that the evil inclination will no more have power. But there's a discussion where it says, one said that the eulogy will be for the Mashiach, descended from the tribe of Yosef, who will be killed in battle. While one said it will be for the evil inclination that will have been killed, eradicated at that future time, at the end. And you see, this is what's going to happen when Mashiach arrives. The evil inclination, the ZOHAR, will be eradicated. It will be slaughtered and no more. Now, what's more interesting, as I was studying the Zohar in this section, I came across some fascinating GEMATRIA. Now, when it says Vayhi, well, the GEMATRIA, 2 years, it says 2 years, Shanasim. Well, the divine name, Ani, I have right here. The Malui, when it's spelled out in full, you take Aleph and spell it out in full. Aleph Lamed Fe equals 111. Dalid Lamed Tav 434. And Nun Vav Nun equals 106. And Yud Vav Dalid equals 20. When you add them together, you get 671. Of the name of Ani. What's interesting about 671? 671 is also the numerical value of Yeshu HaNotzri. But there's more. And it says, and when we take 671, and it says day by day, Yom Yom. See, the Zohar discusses the 2 years. It says, blessed be Ani, day by day bears out, bears our burden. Tehillim 68 verse 20. And the name Ani, Aleph Daled Nun Yud, which alludes to the Nukva. The verse contains the mystery of wisdom day by day, which is the secret of 2 years, literally 2 years, days, which are 2 grades, Bina and Zer and Pin. For the Nukva is blessed only by them. And so 671 plus day by day, Yom Yom, which equals 112. Yom Yom, day by day equals 112. 671 plus 112 plus the 12 letters of the fillings, the Malui of Adni, and the 5 letters of Shenasim, which is 2 years, equals 800. So that was interesting to me. And again, Yeshu Hanotri 671 is really interesting. It's interesting that the Zera Shimshon says that the end was related to Joseph's suffering, Israel's suffering, and that Joseph went through amazing amount of harsh suffering, and so did Israel. And Or Chaim even says that Hashem, blessed be He, suffers along with Israel. And this is also what is talked about with the sages, that even Mashiach suffers alongside with Israel. And not only that, so 800 and Adni 671, I decided to subtract 2 years. 800 minus 671, Yeshua HaNotzri, equals 129. What's interesting about 129? Well, here we have the Atbash system of GEMATRIA. And 129, when you take the letters of Yeshua, which equals 386, and substitute them with the Atbash system, it actually equals 129, Yeshua. And what do we learn about in this Parsha, Miketz? That Yosef, he's hidden from his brothers. He hasn't revealed himself to them. He's in disguise. He's in Egypt, a place where he really shouldn't be. And his brothers don't recognize him. And Yosef, the rabbis really connect him to Mashiach ben Yosef because of the role of the suffering and how he doesn't look the way we expect Mashiach to look. He's hiding. He's hanging out with the Gentiles. Sort of like Yeshua HaNotzri, who was in Rome, hanging with the Gentiles, not looking kosher, not looking like an observant Jew. His followers say he's a lawbreaker, that he abolished the Torah, which is not true. But even while Joseph was in Egypt, he was still observing Torah. And so even Yeshua, who is known as Jesus, interesting that Joseph was also given a different name. His name, Pharaoh called his name Zaphnath Paneach. Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zaphnath Paneach, which really means revealer of things. 828. I'm just looking at notes right here on the spot. It's interesting, the 2 years equals 800. 28 is the numerical value of strength, Choach. The revealer of things that have been hidden. This is what his name means. And so Yeshua is even called Jesus. Hidden, the revealed kosher aspect of Yeshua. Sometimes things don't sound right. They don't sound kosher. They sound like this can't be. It's interesting. Potiphera is also the numerical value of the Shekinah. And when Israel was suffering, when Joseph was suffering, the Shekinah was there. And so these are just some interesting gems that I found and thought were worth sharing as I was studying the Zohar. And on that note, have a good week. Shavua Tov.